Hey guys, Brian just hopping in real fast. Forgot to add on the upcoming shows for Devotion, so let's go ahead and do that now. So let's start off with September 16th. Going to be Devotion Championship Wrestling Presents Controlled, featuring the likes of Chris Adonis as well as Kenny King. It's going to be a huge show. It'll be at Trolley Square on September 16th. Following that, we're also going to be at Fan X in Salt Lake City, the local comic convention. We'll be there all 3 days, 21st to the 23rd of September. And if you are going to Fan X and have not gotten your tickets yet, use our promo code for 50% off. That promo code is wrestling. Again, use wrestling promo code to get 15% off of your tickets. And then lastly, October 6th, we'll be right back in Salt Lake City at Light Tree Studios for Halloween Bash. A lot of great shows coming up, guys. Stay tuned on our Facebook and Twitter pages. You can also get your tickets there. Facebook, that will be Devotion Championship Wrestling. And on Twitter is DCW Salt Lake City. All right, guys. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the newest episode of Slightly Agitated. Hey guys, and welcome to the newest episode of Be Hero Presents Slightly Agitated, where a thicket of idiots, and yes, I did go look up the word of a bunch of idiots together. It is called a thicket. A thicket of idiots get on and do a topic together by the choice of one of said idiots. I am your host and idiot one, Brian. I'm a host of multiple shows here on Be Hero Presents. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to our Idiot 2. Today, let's go ahead and have Idiot 2 be presented as... Let's do Senor William Cutting himself, Josh Martinez. How are you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to get slightly agitated. I've been drinking a little bit, so...
As you should, as we are. I got my whiskey. What do you got drinking right now there, Josh?
A Modelo Oro. I'll watch some calories, dog.
Very Hispanic of you.
Yes.
And, of course, idiot number 3, former Devotion Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Andrew Sowell, and he is drinking...
I'm drinking a Bloody Mary, but with fucking vodka. I got vodka in.
Which is a good choice. Actually, I think it's the only way I ever have a Bloody Mary is with vodka. I think the other way is with gin, right?
Rum. You can have the silver rum, which is what I did for my first one. I'm on my second one now. That's almost gone. So
nice.
We'll see how far we make it this evening on a very, very Merry Christmas Friday.
Yeah, no, we still got like 3 more holidays before Christmas, brother.
How dare you skip over Halloween, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and more importantly, my birthday.
That's not a holiday. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
It's true. It's very true. Actually, side tangent before we even go on, my wife actually totally snubbed me on my birthday last year because it was the same day that Betty White died. And
oh, shit.
She was like, I'm like expecting to come home to like, you know, a lasagna dinner, which is what she always makes me every year and stuff like that. And she's like, I can't. I'm so upset about Betty White dying. I'm like, fine, whatever. So we just had like whatever dinner she made. And then I go to sit down and watch TV, and she's watching Golden Girls. I'm like, baby, I want to rather watch something else. I just don't feel like watching Golden Girls right now. She goes, well, you know, she just passed away. We have to honor her. I'm like, bitch, it's my birthday. Oh, I was very upset that day.
I think that was a wise choice, though. You got to honor her for her 100th birthday, which really sucked because she was going to do her 100th birthday, right?
Yeah, she was 99. She's only like
she was going to live stream that shit. I was so looking forward to watching that and being a part of it. And then she goes and dies selfishly. You know what I mean?
Can't believe celebrities, man. Bob Barker.
How dare they not think about their fans?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
All right. So now we've totally derailed this whole episode. Let's go ahead and continue right back to this. So this week, Soel has volunteered to step up for Davon, who is obviously not here or here yet.
Fuck you, Davon.
And he's going to go ahead and do the pick that Davon was supposed to. So, Soel, what is our topic for the week?
Once again, Andrew Sowell coming through and saving the day for a fucking topic. My topic is, what's a conspiracy theory that you firmly believe?
That's a hard one.
Is it? It shouldn't be that hard.
Well, the problem is there's so many conspiracy theories that are stupid as hell. And then, you go and listen to some, they're like, that's totally dumb. And then you find out they're totally true. Like the NSA listening to all your phone calls. It's like, oh, come on. They wouldn't have the time to do that, right? They wouldn't have the time to take all of our data. And then Snowden happens and find out that's exactly what they're bloody doing. So.
See? Yeah. I mean, see? Really, they're just spoiler alerts at this point.
I'll start with one. So one I do firmly believe, but not to the level that everybody else seems to in that, is that we've been visited by aliens. But to a very lesser extent.
I'll hop right on that fucking train. Of fucking course we have.
Yeah.
You're fucking ridiculous if you don't think that we've been visited by fucking aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's no way that we're the only life form in the universe. On top of that nothing's ever not been here.
Yeah, scientifically, the Drake equation tells us that the odds are highly likely that we are not the only
Did
species.
you just say the Drake equation?
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Hold on. No, don't shut the fuck up, both of you. Let me have my fucking joke.
Okay.
The singer, he theorizes and shit?
No, not the singer.
There we go.
Theoretical astronomical physicist from the 1980s. It came up with a kind of a mathematical solution to kind of guesstimate what the likeliness of aliens are, or other civilizations out in the galaxy and universe.
See, and I'm also going to take use of our very prestigious platform and call out Neil deGrasse Tyson, who doesn't fucking believe that aliens fucking visited us ever. Fuck you, Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, I mean, we know he listens, so Neil, please comment below.
Hold on,
Wait, he doesn't.
Our one listener is on the phone with us right now.
I guess that's true.
No, wait, hold up. Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't believe that aliens have ever been here.
Correct.
What in the blue fuck?
I think he's part of the propaganda.
A lot of known scientific people don't believe that they have visited us, and some of them have a reasonable concept. Like Stephen Hawking didn't believe that we've ever been visited, and his sole reason is because if we were visited by aliens, they would not be the benevolent kind, right? And you can see that in history relative to how we've done it,
where
a more advanced species or more advanced civilization, has visited another one that's not technologically as advanced, and you see what happens. I mean, Josh, you know all about that. So,
wow, you fuck.
I mean, it's the same thing as us going to fucking watch monkeys and shit, like Jane Goodall, fucking Gorillas in the Mist or whatever the fuck. It's the same concept in that they tell fucking horror stories about being abducted by poachers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then
that's the other aspect to it. So there's the two kinds, right? So if you use an analogy of how the Spanish came.
No, there's 5 kinds. There's 5 kinds of.
Those are close encounters. Those are different things. So
it's the same thing.
There's different aspects to what people believe what would happen, right? So one most common version of this is if aliens came here, they would be a higher technological race species that would come to here to probably use our resources and do a thing, similar to what the Spanish did to the first people in Southern or South America, right?
You mean the
Or-
Aztecs?
Well, wait, hold on. I
have
saw
a
that
fucking name.
documentary. I saw that documentary signed by M. Night Shyamalan, and aliens were allergic to water, but they wanted to invade Earth anyway, which is made up 85% of fucking water.
All right. Obviously, they weren't the smart kind of aliens, and or you weren't a smart kind of person to go see an M. Night Shyamalan movie. The other aspect is exactly that, where we're more of a zoo kind because their civilizations are so advanced that we aren't even close to being threatening, right, or even useful outside of being something to watch.
Have you heard the theory that some, like, particularly, I don't know if it's the Greys, but like one of the cultures of extraterrestrials are actually us from like the future, who've evolved like, you know, well beyond, and they're trying to come back to warn us about nuclear war, which is why you see a lot of like UFO spacecrafts by nuclear silos and stuff like that, just, you know, fucking with those. Like, I've heard stories about, you know, people that work at those, and like a UFO has come through and it like disabled the entire system.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, if they want to go ahead and come through Russia right now, I hear we might need that type of help.
Yeah, no, I've
waiting
heard
for that
too.
moment.
And it is generally the Greys that are the relevant to that. But like I said, like I've heard a lot of these alien ones and these conspiracy theories, and probably 95% of them I don't like believe in. But certain ones, like the Roswell crash, right? There's so much evidence to prove that there was something there.
Well, hold on. That was proven based on shit. That was proven based on one guy's photo that was a weather balloon. Like, I don't know, you conspiracy nut.
Do you mean the weather balloon that they announced after announcing it was an alien saucer that landed, including the sheriff, who was the first person on the scene saying it was? Yeah. So,
look, you're getting a little too conspiracy happy. All right, maybe this wasn't.
That's that's the topic you wanted.
I'm sorry. Proceed.
So yeah. So to a lesser extent, though, I believe in like the concept that the aliens like help create the pyramids and all that. That's a little bit far fetched for me because that feels like it's diminishing what man's able to do. But I think that like the crash landings, like that one, or they have other ones that are similar in those aspects. There's even an interesting one where the Incas thought that there was a giant metal bird that came out of Lake Titicaca on the regular. That was the place. Yeah, I know. I was trying to do that the whole time saying Titicaca without trying to giggle, but you ruined that. Thanks, Josh.
You're very welcome. I'm a mature adult.
Way to stay mature.
Right. So that's the ones I believe in. What about you, Josh? What's a conspiracy theory that you actually believe in?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know a lot of conspiracy theories off the top of my head. So the alien ones for sure. Alien ones for sure. Denver Airport. Oh yeah, the Denver Airport one. I don't know. I can't say I necessarily believe in it, but that's one of those ones that's definitely more outlandish for me.
Your girlfriend believes in it. You believe in it. Just go with it.
I don't know if I can, man. I don't know if I can.
Just know that she's always right. So
yeah.
Oh, I believe in that one. I definitely believe in the fucking Denver Airport fucking conspiracy.
Do you now?
Absolutely.
But out of every city, why Denver? I've never understood that part of it.
Well, because it's like more centrally located within the United States.
One of the other aspects,
and maybe they had the space too, where they were like, "Hey, we have to rebuild this new airport." So, end of times bunker, middle of the country. I guess it's not really in the middle. I don't know maps. But
they actually have a military backup bunker that was a secondary bunker for the president when he was on the West Coast. That is in Colorado. It's in the Colorado Mountains in Boulder. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. So it's not too terribly surprising if they did have some kind of bunker system or train system, which is one of the rumors I've heard for the Denver airport as well, that goes to that bunker as a safe place for the president or whomever to go through and do that stuff. So that one wouldn't be terribly surprising if that was true.
Yeah, I didn't know about the military bunker.
I can't remember the name of it though, but it's a pretty popular one. In fact, it's so popular. Stargate SG-1 used it as its place of where it actually was. The Stargate was at that they did all their military base from. But it's a real bunker and military facility. Anyhow, all right. So, what about you?
Let's see. Let me go through my Rolodex of
your Rolodex.
Theories.
All right. Well, this is gonna be a 3-hour podcast.
I don't fully think that we've been to the moon. I'm gonna go ahead and
really
come out there and say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't fully think, because the whole thing with everyone, Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah.
He directed The Gimmick, and so on his deathbed, he told people that he directed the moon landing, and what brings even more credence to it is that NASA's like well, we don't really want to adventure out in space because there's this radiation field that we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, haven't we done this fucking 13 times already?
The radiation field does encompass the moon. The protection we have for the radiation field will encompass the moon, depending on when the moon's at in its solar thing. So when the moon landings, quote unquote, happen, I'll go give you, it was during times where it would have been encompassed by our protection against the radiation.
But but they're saying no, we're not sending anyone else out into space because of this radiation. Well, not. I mean, we have the International Space Station, but we're not sending anyone back out to the moon or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I thought we still were, or are we just shooting for Mars now?
We're not going out to the moon.
We are. So
we are?
Yes. So the plan, as it is right now, it got pushed back to 2030. But the plan is to go back to the moon to start creating a small settlement as a launching point to then go to Mars via NASA's plan by 2050.
Damn.
Yeah. So the plan is to go there. Now, to work around the constant radiation that would happen outside of our standard protection, is they're going to try and put it inside of a crater so that it has a good majority of protection from that point. But we do have a sphere of protection around the magnetic. What's the word? A magnetic field that does our protection around us, but it does it relative to think like a comet, right? A comet's coming towards the sun. It's got a tail, right? So our magnetic protection also has kind of a tail that goes around it to allow the radiation going around us through the the magnetic field causes a tail to go around us. So we have a small sphere of area where it's protected things behind us that's slightly outside of that. So every time that they've done a moon landing or gone to the moon, they've gone at the time where the moon was in that sphere of area that they could do that and still be outside of or protected away from the radiation. So, that being said, there's an interesting concept to the theory that they have with the first moon landing being filmed. Is that's the only one that they ever talk about being filmed. But we've been to the moon 13 times, right? Including ones that haven't been filmed.
No, after 12, we never went back. What other one went?
14 and 19, I believe we went back. Let me look.
No, I thought they stopped it after 18 because the Challenger shuttle blew up. Wasn't that 18? Or am I wrong on that? I don't know.
Well, they weren't going to the moon in the Challenger.
Right, but it stopped the NASA space program for like decades in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which also, just to segue on that fucking bit, have you seen the Josh, do you know what the Challenger explosion is?
Yes, I'm aware of the Challenger explosion.
Have you fucking seen this conspiracy fucking theory, since we're fucking on this topic here? The theory that the Challenger astronauts never fucking blew up and they just got different jobs at NASA. Have you seen the photographic evidence of these people that have jobs that look exactly like older versions? Granted, because, you know, it's been a few years. They look just like the astronauts that allegedly blew up in the Challenger shuttle.
I have not.
What
Now
about
that's
the
a
teacher who
conspiracy
was
theory.
on? There was a teacher that was on the shuttle, or on the on the shuttle. Did she get a job at NASA too?
Yes, she did. She literally did. They included her in the photographs. Like, if you Google this shit right now, because I'm on my phone, so I can't leave this chat without ruining everything. So, Mike, you're our Google czar. Fucking go ahead and Google that shit.
Okay. And it was Apollo 17. So from 11 to 13,
Okay.
17 minus 13 that had the issues. Let's see. Challenger shuttle. All right, let's take a look here. It's literally the first one that came up when I put that in. Let's see what nonsense this is. All right. Conspiracy theory. Yeah, I was going over the whole O-ring. Alive and well, the proof positive is a photo. People looking similar are roughly the same age as they would have lived, and who share the same name. The only crew members who get slightly more scrutiny are the regular flight people. Let's see, but nothing about the teacher. Let's see. One of them became a CEO. Boop boop.
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they all have well-paying jobs?
Right. Ironically, one of them is a twin of the people who were on there, so it could have been a twin. Let's see. This conspiracy theory has been debunked.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Damn.
Score one for me.
Yeah.
In the negative.
Oh, that's where you live, bro. But with the moon landing ones, like, we've had, let's say, so from 11 to 17 would be what? 6 minus 13, which had its issues. So 4 other landings that have all been recorded over a span of 10 years. All of them were done by Stanley Kubrick.
Hold on. Which this brings me to another fucking conspiracy theory. Have you seen those fucking videos? Well, so I mean, sorry, not to fucking keep changing the subject, but god damn it, I am toasty. Sorry, just to stick on Apollo 12. So it was either Buzz Aldrin or Lance Armstrong that said angrily, like, "Oh, we never went to the fucking moon."
Buzz Aldrin knocked the motherfucker out because he tried to say that he didn't go to the moon. And it wasn't Lance Armstrong. He's the guy that rides the bike.
Yeah, you're
Neil
thinking
Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong was on the moon in a different sense, as you know, he was loaded with steroids and drugs.
Yeah, that's fair. So like people, obviously try and talk to him about it. And it's like, well, and I whichever one it was, I fucking forget.
Well, I doubt it was Buzz Aldrin. Like he was at I can't remember if it was a Comic-Con or some convention, and some guy went up to talk about the theory of not landing on the moon, and he literally smacked him in the face. He's like,
well,
"You're telling me my
seen
friends
that.
and I didn't risk our lives for this, dude? Like it's great. If you guys haven't watched it, go find it online. It's fantastic."
I've seen that video, but there's another one where he was like, "Well, we just didn't go to the moon." I'm sorry, I keep fucking squirreling this conversation, but have you seen the fucking like videos of like NASA where like now all the International Space Station shit is just fucking people on fucking wires in front of green screen? Just green screen.
No,
No shit.
Dude, it's I fucking swear to God, it's fucking legit because one guy gets caught up in his fucking harness when he's trying to like do a rotation. He gets caught up.
Mhm.
The guy next to him helps him out get out of the fucking thing. One of the shots that they showed, like in the NASA Super Center, Control Center, whatever, is literally someone in front of a green screen.
No shit. That's fucking awesome.
oh my god, that's such a stupid thing. It's the so
This
well,
is a stupid podcast.
this is a stupid podcast, but if you believe that even the International Space Station is faked, then I have
I'm not saying
excuse.
I'm not saying the International Space Station. I'm saying some of the astronauts that we send out there that we put on TV, they're not really in space. I'm not saying the International Space Station is not in space. Google that shit, bitch.
There is so much more positive video of things that you cannot do on Earth, like say wringing out a towel and having it stay there, right, and being able to interact with it. As good as anybody is with CGI and everything else, there's no way you could look that way. There's so much more positive
Google
video.
it. Google it, bitch.
I'm not gonna Google it. One, I won't be put on a list, and two, I don't need that stupid kind of crap in my life. Like to think that is something that somebody would do. Uh, yeah, like I said, like I have a belief with the alien one that there's so much more positive evidence for something like that, and to a less like of the certain ones. Like I said, there are so many that people try to drag out or more. The
Right.
moon landing, this faking things to people going into space is such stupid shit. Like, why would you care and give it time? We are not giving that much money to NASA for anything. Like NASA is one of the lowest low budgeted like things that we give federally to, right? So much so that we have our JPL, who's a company that we use all of our rocketing stuff, and they create all of this the tech for things
No.
like that.
JBL is a wrestler.
.jbl, JPL. Jet Propulsion Laboratories, or Jet Propulsion Laboratories. They do a bunch of stuff for creating all this stuff, but they do it through grants and billionaires pay for them and help them out for making sure that NASA has the opportunity for doing things to try and keep our technologies advanced, right? We don't even have our own space station to try and launch stuff out of anymore, like Spaceport. Like Kennedy Spaceport isn't really used anymore. Most of the time, all that stuff is done now through Russia when we can get over there to do things because we don't have the money for that. So why would why would they ever try to fake it? It's not like they're making money for it.
So they faked it back in the 60s, again, allegedly, to beat fucking Russia to the moon. That was the whole thing during the fucking Cold War, is that we're fucking better and we can beat your ass to the moon.
That first one
And in
I can
hockey.
believe. Yeah, in hockey, yes. That first one I might be able to believe for that reason alone. Okay. But where we subsequently did it another 5 more times over the next 10 years and recorded it and it looks identical, I don't think we would have recorded all of those. Like I said, the first time maybe, but that's also discrediting people. Like at that point, you're discrediting all of the people that put their time and effort, sweat and tears. They went from 1964 to 1969, putting in 5 years of hard work to try and get a space program not only launched, but also to get to the moon first, right? That's discrediting all of those people that put that time in. And that's just a dick move either which way.
Yeah.
But I can probably believe the first time.
Look,
But
if you pay me whatever they're getting paid, I'll lie about anything.
That's true. Well, I don't know if I can believe you, Josh. You have a government job, so.
Well, I mean, I do.
Yeah, but he's low level, so.
I am just the grunt that puts shit together. Okay.
Oh man! All right, let's see. Do you have any other ones, Josh?
Tupac and Elvis are still alive. That just came to my head. I don't know why it did, but it did. And Elvis can fuck off. He's dead. But I firmly do still believe that Tupac is still alive.
I'm not sure what Sowell is doing, but suddenly I have a camera view of him, a slight camera view, and it's kind of awkward.
Oh God!
I don't want to know what you were doing because all I saw was something covering up the camera halfway, and it was very flesh toned. I don't want to know what it was.
Uh-oh. Is that a butt cheek?
At best. At best.
At best.
I was trying to moon you. It was my hand.
You're trying to record yourself on the moon.
How's this for visiting the moon?
Right. So the Tupac and Elvis one, like Elvis, I don't know if he really would be alive, even if he would have survived. Like at this point.
I mean, now.
But
now, no, definitely not. But when that was a thing, like when he would have been like 70 or 80 years old, for sure. I think there's the story of him dying doesn't add up to me, and the story of Tupac dying doesn't add up to me.
Well, the Tupac one makes the most sense out of the two.
Yeah.
Did you see his daughter, Tupac's daughter, saying, "Nah, that bitch is alive still"?
I did not see that.
No, I didn't either. But listening to family is sometimes the hardest one, though, because they will always preach saying that somebody's alive, even though like there's a lot of evidence saying that they are not.
Well, first of all, Tupac was at one of the Super Bowls recently, so he's definitely alive.
He was at Coachella. It was Coachella.
No, he did a Super Bowl halftime show also. You fuck. I think it was last year. It was the previous year.
It was not.
Are you talking about the one that they did with Dre and Eminem and?
Yeah, that one.
Cent?
He was there. He was there in hologram form, but it was him.
They didn't do the hologram there, did they?
I don't remember the hologram there.
Yes, they did.
I remember the hologram that they did at Coachella where he got on stage, where like it was him and Snoop Dogg.
Yep.
And then the memes instantly, because the internet is just a bunch of fucking savages, came out like right away.
Yeah.
Bunch of marks.
I mean, I popped. That was super cool, by the way.
Maybe he didn't do it. I don't fucking remember. I'm 2 sheets in, so I don't fucking recall.
Well, let's go with a thought here, right? So, how would they got away with it, right? On Elvis or Tupac, is they would have had to fake their death and then go into
which is easy to do if you're a millionaire. Have you not seen any of these documentaries coming out?
How am I supposed to see when that's coming out, Zoa?
I'm sorry, that's been out, you bitch.
Okay. I know. I have no clue what you're talking about.
So some of these millionaires have fucking faked their death because they're wanted for something, and then they're still alive, living in like fucking a foreign country. And then I swear to God, there was one that just came out. I fucking forget which one it is. But
and they got caught somehow.
No, so they got found out that they're still alive, and they're trying to get them arrested because they're in one of the countries that doesn't expedite back to the U.S. Not expedite. That's not the right word.
Well, I mean, it kind of works. You're expediting it. They're trying to get them over.
What's
Is
the
that not the right word?
No.
No, it's not. It's what Edward Snowden's
Expedition.
like,
No,
avoiding.
expedition.
Exfoliated.
Yes, exfoliated.
Yes, the thing that the soap does, countries also do.
Now you got me all screwed up. I keep wanting to go to expedite. That's not the right word.
No, it's not the right word.
Not exercise, because that's what the church does to demons.
Right?
I swear, I think it is expedite.
It's not expedite. Expedite's implying
Extradition.
Yes.
Extradite, yes.
I know words.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, but he was found out, right? And that's what I was going to say is like, even like people who are in like witness protection, often get found out. So if you look at somebody like Whitey Bulger, who went into, or not Whitey Bulger,
Say Whitey Bulger just went into hiding.
He also got found out, but no, there was one that.
Well, I mean, a bunch of people that go into witness protection is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
What's his nuts? Goodfellas. Henry something. The one that Goodfellas is based off of. He was found out later on to be still around, and he had his name changed. It was in witness protection. He was living in freaking Phoenix.
I know who you're talking about, and I can't remember his fucking name either.
Yeah, but
I love Goodfellas so much.
My point being is, somebody would have said something, right? Somebody would have been able to point and say, he is actually here. Here it is. And we would have been able to find them, whether it's Elvis or Tupac. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would be so happy if either of them would have still around and stuff, because I like both of their music. But sadly, they died in a horrible way. One on a shitter and one not on a shitter.
But like, how do you get shot on the Vegas fucking strip and nobody sees it? There's no witnesses. There's no. It's after a big fight too. Like
the same way that people get shot who aren't famous all the time in New York and nobody sees it. Right, because people.
I mean, it's a drive-by, but like, I mean, still, like on the biggest strip, like I'm sure they had. I mean, this is back in the mid-90s.
Yeah. They would have had some kind of surveillance, but not anywhere near what we have now, so it wouldn't have been as clear.
Right, but still, like, you can get like a make and model of a fucking vehicle, which I don't believe has ever been fucking reported.
Well, ironically, by the way, if you guys hadn't heard, I think it was last month, they did in Vegas arrest somebody or go into someone's house for suspicion of being involved in Tupac's murder. I think it was last month that they happened.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't Suge Knight because he's in prison now for killing somebody.
Yeah.
About fucking time. But
wait, who'd you say?
Suge Knight.
Suge Knight.
Oh, Suge Knight. I thought you said M. Night. I was like, that's a different person.
What a twist.
That is a director of. That is the most hit and miss director of our generation.
Very much miss more than hit, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
no, but like Suge Knight, I know they questioned him again in prison about the murder of Tupac.
Yeah, they did that at the same time, but there was a guy that I can't remember if it was arrested or just went into their house with a warrant or something like that for suspicion in being involved in his murder. And the guy lives in Vegas. I can't remember who it was. I'll look it up while we're thinking about this. To the internet, I'm sure I'll find about a bunch of wrong like things, but Tupac murder.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't hear that shit.
I didn't either.
Yeah, here it is. Great, rated in the Guardian. The Better Home rated in link to Tupac Shakur's killing tied to suspect's uncle. And that was from July of last year.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Detectives saw items concealing the murder, or concerning the murder of Tupac. His uncle Orlando Andrews had involvement in the killing and died 2 years later after an unrelated gang shooting. But apparently there was documentation and a gun, which was the same make and model. All right, so all signs are looking like it's going to be possibly resolved.
Hey.
Interesting.
So,
but see that was I mean, you said last year?
Last month, July last month.
Oh, I'm sorry, last month
Or 2 months, I guess now.
I mean, all kinds of shit's been happening in the last month that obviously they would bury that fucking story. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Do I have another conspiracy theory that I believe in? Well, it's so hard because there's a lot of stuff out there that's like I don't believe in it, but then there are other ones like attempted assassinations and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, those ones I might go and believe in. Or it's like we have some involvement and stuff like that. But one that so I'll go with one that's prevalent. I don't believe in it, but I could believe it being real, if that makes sense. I don't believe it's real, but I could believe it being real. Is the death of Princess Diana being a hit by the royal family and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that one I could believe it, but I only believe it, and I think the reason I can kind of believe it is because of the way that a lot of the media reporting came out for it, which I think is involved with a lot of these kind of things, these weird conspiracy theories, is the way that the media portrays it. So, Josh, you weren't alive, but so you were alive when Princess Di died, right?
I was alive when Princess Diana died.
Were you?
Bro, that was like 97 or like
I was 5. I didn't give a shit because I was 5, but I was alive, damn it.
I was a teenager when it happened, so that's why I was questioning.
I mean, I was definitely alive when it happened, and I also did not give a fuck about it.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest.
The way that the media portrayed it is that she was killed in a car accident, and that they were questioning the royal family with involvement, that her and her boyfriend had died together, all this other things. Well, it's come out later on as the years have gone by that, one, it looks like she died because her driver was drunk, and he'd been drinking, not expecting to be driving, and they actually asked him to come pick them up last minute. Secondly, apparently Princess Di and Dodi Fayed, the guy she was with, they were actually not together. They were just friends, but everybody was making it sound like it was, including Dodi's dad, who was making it seem like they were together to try and, I guess, start something or what have you. But the media portrayed it as that was the thing. So it puts a lot of shade on stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that happens with a lot of these conspiracy theories, which makes it really hard to believe in the ones that are real.
Or spoiler alerts.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so hard to pull the crap out of, or pull the roses out of the crap, if it makes sense. So I do have another one though. It just popped in my head that I think I do believe in. Do you guys know what
I did like 14 in like 2 minutes.
That's true. Do you guys know what the Mandela effect is?
Yes. I believe
the Mandela effect, and the reason I say that is because scientifically, it is one of the easiest ways to prove time travel is things like that, right? Is the Mandela
It's not
effect?
time travel.
Yeah, that's what causes it.
No, I thought it was dimensions or fucking.
Well, if you go with the different thought of like how a dimensional or how the parallel universes go, right? So if you
That's
make
the
a
word,
choice,
parallel universe.
if you make one choice, if you go right instead of left, there are now two separate universes. One where you went right, one where you went left. But theoretically, if you go back in time, you've created and you make a change, you've created another parallel universe from that point on. The only difference is from your forward in time version of creating parallel universes, so if you're going right or you're going left, that doesn't affect what people have already had as experiences, right? Where if you go back in time and then you make a change, that would then affect the timeline. Think Back to the Future 2. And people who have some people have like these feelings, these things like, man, I thought that was how it was, kind of thing, was kind of like an echo of that previous parallel universe until it got changed. And that's what the Mandela effect is. One of the most common ones is the Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstein Bears, right?
I remember Berenstein Bears.
As a lot of people do, but it's the Berenstein Bears in the current parallel universe we're in.
Right.
Which
And
also, just while we're fucking on this, I don't care. I saw a fucking video, and again, this could completely be fake, but I saw a video the other day where this dude has like this old ass fucking like phone that has a camera on it. It's not like an iPhone, it might be like a BlackBerry. But like he's holding up the phone to like with the camera pointed at something that's part of these like Mandela effects. Like the Monopoly Man, like did he have a monocle or didn't he? Which I swear to God, he had a fucking monocle.
I also am right there with you. He had a monocle, and so did the Pringles guy, didn't he?
I think so. I don't remember that one off the top of my head right now, but I'm just using the Monopoly guy because that's what was on this video. So like he would like show the camera with the Monopoly guy as he is now, sans monocle, and then he'd put his BlackBerry or whatever the fuck phone with the camera on it. He would put it up to that, and it would show the Monopoly guy with the monocle. Does that make sense?
So he was like using it like almost like a magnifying glass or like a way to see
filter?
the illusion kind of thing.
Yeah, but like it wouldn't be a filter though because like it's an old ass phone from like the early mid 2000s. I mean, obviously it could be trickery, but like I don't know. It's interesting.
So
it's an interesting thing.
That is an interesting one, and I don't believe it for the fact of how technology works. It wouldn't reflect in that aspect. Like I thought you were going to say something like he had old pictures on there of the old version of something or other. That I might be able to kind of believe, but like when it's like a filter or something, it's like no. But that one's an interesting one too with the Pringles man and the Monopoly guy.
Yeah.
Because the question that goes to being is it that he was always had the monocle and we just only like realized that now that he doesn't via Mandela effect, or was it a cultural mess up that has caused us to do that? Right. Example being Ace Ventura too, where he makes fun of the guy who looks like the Monopoly guy because he's had the monocle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So is it because of the cultural thing? So our brains have been shifted, thinking that it's supposed to be there because we remember what he looked like from that movie, or is it from that? Also, could our brains also be tying in a like thing? So like you know how when we read words, it's been shown that sometimes when you're reading words quickly, most of the time when you read words quickly, you're not reading the whole word, but you're kind of reading like the first and last letter of the word and like the length of the word. So sometimes as you're reading quickly, you're like, oh, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. And you have to go back and read that and you realize you read the wrong word. Those are kind of a similar thing if you think of the Monopoly guy, the Pringles guy, and Mr. Peanut. All guys who roughly look identical with the top hat, one having a monocle, so your brain implies that the other two must also have a monocle.
Ooh.
So there's those weird ones like that too. The other one, and of course the one that Mandela effect actually gets its name from, is a lot of people believe that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s in prison. And obviously he didn't, at least in this universe, because he ended up becoming president of South Africa and only dying like maybe 10 years ago. So, but a lot of people remember him dying in prison. And the question being is, did somebody go back in time and get him out of prison or what have you to create an effect that has caused this to happen? But subsequently, what could have made it? Like, maybe somebody misreported that he had died in prison, and that's just kind of stuck with people's minds as a thing, even though he didn't actually die. So I believe in the Mandela effect because scientifically it's a way to prove possible time travel. But I can also see how things could be misconstrued because our brains are horrible, horrible devices.
Oh, 100%. Like Solo forgetting his own phone number.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's because of external forces.
Yes, external forces is somebody smacking you against the ground and your brain smacking against the side of the head.
But I mean, isn't that basically what the Mandela effect is hinting at? Is that there was some external force that caused everyone or mass amounts of people to remember things a certain way, even though they're not?
Well, it's less about making them remember it a different way, as in changing the flow of time to be a certain way. But the echo of what the previous universe was is what we're remembering.
Oh, okay.
Basically, if life is like the Matrix, we all died, but then our brains got plugged into a different server. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
All
we
right.
went from one computer program crashing to another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, like that's something I could see. Tying into that, there's one other conspiracy theory that I could also see being real. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this one, but it is that we are actually in a simulation and not the real versions of ourselves.
That one I've heard.
I have heard that one.
It's an interesting one, and it's one that cannot be truly proven or disproven either. So it's kind of an interesting one to think about. And the way I heard it is a way I can believe it. So there are two options that it comes to being when it comes to being whether we're in a simulation or not. Because eventually we'll have the technology to essentially make a simulation of this. I mean, we're practically there with like The Sims, right?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
The two options it could be right now is either we are the original timeline, so we are not the simulation, but we will eventually make a simulation of this, or we are the most recent incarnation of the simulation that's being ran right now. And being a computer programmer, all that speaks to me. So it is totally something I believe could be true. So, all right. So,
no, I mean, yeah, I
can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this documentary that I haven't watched yet, but like, it's by the same guy that did Room 237, which is a documentary about the conspiracy theory about The Shining and how much that gives away of Stanley Kubrick's involvement with the moon landing. Just not to change the subject, but there's the same documentarian. Yes, that's the words.
I knew you'd figure it out.
He just came out with another one that's on Hulu, which I've bogarted from
Me.
our one listener. But like, there's a documentary on Hulu about this exact topic, about how we live in a simulation. Which another scientist just came out recently, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, that he's like, yeah, there's no way that we're not living in a simulation.
Yeah, there's a lot of scientists that are kind of backing it. Even Elon Musk believes in this one. Mind you, his opinions are questionable after buying Twitter, but
I mean, hey, so hold on. So let's go ahead and change the subject, since you want to bring solely Elon Musk's name. So back before the 2020 election, everyone was, like, oh my God, we're getting into this fucking topic.
If we're gonna go down a Trump topic, let's go ahead and skip that one for now, because we try.
No, this isn't necessarily a Trump. Well, I guess it kind of is. Fuck. But anyway, Elon Musk buying Twitter, and then us finding all the Twitter fucking files. Well, not us, but them reporting all the Twitter fucking files, which were conspiracy theories, which have been proven to be facts. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, fucking Elon Musk buying Twitter is potentially the best thing that has fucking happened in a while. And that we found out that the FBI is really just another fucking arm of what's his fucking face? President.
Biden?
Yeah, Biden's dumbass.
So, skipping past the political conversation, because we don't do that on this podcast. Let's go ahead and see. Do we have any?
I'm 3 sheets now.
I can tell. There was one other one that popped in my head just now, and I forgot what it was. Oh. In fact, let's end it with this topic, because it is about to be that time of the year. So, I can't really call it conspiracy theory, per se, but let's go with the theory of simply, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
It's not a conspiracy theory, you fuck. And the answer is yes. Wait, I thought you were going to do a conspiracy theory where the fucking NFL is fucking rigged, or the NBA is fucking rigged.
No, we all know the NFL's or the NBA's work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's more supernatural, not necessarily a conspiracy theory. But yeah, I definitely believe in ghosts. I've gone ghost hunting. I've gotten EVPs, which stand for those. Well, Josh, you're our one listener. For those not in the knows, they're called electronic voice phenomenon.
Right.
Or phenomenon.
The movie White Noise is totally based off of all that shit.
That's a great fucking movie, so don't ever fucking sully its name.
Oh, never. I loved that movie. That movie.
I'm not saying
that movie
you did.
put the fear of God in me for a while.
So before you go on real fast, I gotta tell a story about White Noise, right? So I took my girlfriend at the time, and we were living at the friend's house, out to go see that movie at the theater. Way late at night, and we walked home from the theater to watch, or after we watched that movie, it was like 1 o'clock by the time we got home. We both go lay down to go sleep, and our roommate had a cat that would walk around everywhere. And as we were getting ready to lay down, the cat stepped on my my cassette player that I had in the front room, and started playing nothing but White Noise on the cassette player. Scared the crap out of both of us. because we didn't know the cat was getting there. Like, we both jumped up and instantly, like, what the hell's going on? I looked over there and saw the cat on top of the cassette player. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, why do you have a cassette that's full of white noise? That's the next topic.
It's true.
What were you trying to record off the radio?
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't trying to record anything. It was odd that it was even on the, because there was the white noise from a station, but there was like, it didn't have a station, even though I'm sure I had left it on a radio station. But
I'm gonna blame the cat on that one. But as a Mexican, and as somebody who was raised Catholic, as you know, most Mexicans are, I can firmly tell you that I believe 110% that ghosts are real.
Yes.
Like, even the way, so me and Zan, right, we got a new house, and the way the cats react to certain things, it's not bothersome, but it's unsettling. Because they would just sit there and their eyes will dart at nothing, and they'll be like focused, hard focused on nothing. And even when I brought my dog here, she would do the same thing. Like, she refused to go into our basement. Refused. And that's not like her. She would love to roam around anywhere. And so, yeah, 110%, they're real. They have to be.
okay.
So I've seen people get scratched. I've gotten EVPs on a tape recorder when I went ghost hunting. I've been not pushed, but I felt myself being touched when there was no one else around me. I've asked the spirit to do something. Like in this case, I asked it to knock over a water bottle that was sitting in the middle of a chair, because I tried to recreate it to make sure that there was like nothing else, like I couldn't kick it over, or like a gust of wind couldn't blow it over. It was a full water bottle.
Okay.
It was at Fear Factory, and I put it in the middle of a chair, and I asked the ghost to knock it over. And about 2 minutes later, it kind of annoys me because I stopped like recording on my camera. When it fucking just got knocked over. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in that shit.
I was really hoping you're going to be like, yeah, I told the ghost to knock the bottle over, and I did the bottle flip, and it landed perfectly upright. And
no, that's asking too much, you cantankerous fuck.
This is not a Gen Z ghost. There's
yeah.
most likely no way.
I mean, if you're a local listener, Josh, you know about Fear Factory and how it used to be a old cement factory, and the ghost that haunted that particular area was a ghost of a man that had passed away at the factory. It was a cement mixing factory, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ghosts are kind of a weird one for me. My wife is she believes
your wife also works in a hospital, right?
No, she works at Smith's.
Damn it.
You're way off, man.
Right.
You're way off.
She works near the pharmacy in Smith, so you're not, I guess, terribly far off. No, but she's quite sensitive to the feeling for ghosts and things like that. So it's a hard one to disprove, because talking with her and her belief in it and everything else, I have had incidents in the past, but I have a hard time chalking it always up to ghosts, if that makes sense. I'm a firm believer in science. And so ghosts are a hard one for me to believe in, but subsequently there's also a theory about what ghosts are, right? So there are two different kinds of theories when it comes to ghosts. So the two kinds of ghosts that for people usually see are, what's the one that's like the replay ghost? It's the one that just kind of replays over the same event over and over. And then there's like one that's interactive. I can't remember the two names for them.
Interactive, like what? Like throwing your fucking dish towels around like a
Yeah, like
poltergeist, or...
one that talks with you and interacts with you, like your bottle, right? But then there are ones who kind of just do like a walk or kind of interact the scene, like the ones at Gettysburg supposedly are. There's a scientific thought to both of these. Two separate thoughts completely, but and similar in the same vein. They're both relative to quantum entanglement. So the ones that are the replay style of ghost hauntings, the ones where they kind of just replay the same action over and over, are ones that are having so much emotion and energy being brought out that they have actually kind of caused the quantum, the area in that quantum, or the quantumness in that area to essentially record and cause the replay effect. So things that are happening are really not what's happening, but the quantum entanglement from what had happened there is causing it to happen again through the particles and everything else in there. Is one thought of how like that kind of would work. And another one is where you have ones that are interactive, or more interactive at least, I guess. That ones aren't so much on the replay style, are not per se ghosts, but are actually a parallel universe that is kind of pushed up right up against us, so much so that the barrier between the little membrane between has kind of been pushed up like
torn
right
a little
against
bit.
it. What was that?
Torn a little bit.
Not torn, but more like pushed up against. So kind of like, do you ever have the like old toy that had like the little plastic needles on it that you push up against your face or your hand, and it does the imprint of that on it? Something like that. So the membrane's pushed up against it, so they're not coming into our universe. We're not going and seeing them in their universe fully. They're bounced up against it because of energy or quantum entanglement. So their energy is actually coming into ours through quantum entanglement when it shouldn't be. That kind of thing. So there's that slight interaction, like the difference between the seeing through a veil of the two worlds. And this one I think is more prevalent because of how often ghosts are of a certain period, right? So a large amount of ghosts, especially we see in the US, are ghosts of people within 100 to 20 years or less, like 20 to 100 years or less, right? You don't generally see ghosts that are like cavemen or ones that are like first generation people. Here, most of the time they're like Civil War up to the 20s kind of time. And it's the theory is that parallel universe is just like a slightly behind us in time, so that's their current time, and we're going in line with them time wise. And so when we bump up against them, we're seeing people from like the Civil War, or we bump up to another one that's closer to like the 20s and things like that. And that's why we can interact. So theoretically, like when you're seeing a ghost and you're talking to your ghost, right, and they interact with you, they push you or touch you, you're really kind of doing the same to them in the other universe. If that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but like it makes no sense. Like if I ask something to touch, like me in this case, and then it pokes me, that's not me touching it. Unless, I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm 4 sheets in now.
Well, think of it this way,
damn.
right? Let's say think of it this way, like, right? Let's say that you were in a spot and something was telling you, it's like, hey, are you there? Prove you're there by, reaching out and touching me, and you can see like a light vision. Let's say a ghost in her what's the word I'm looking for? Apparition is right in front of you, and it's an
apparition. Apparition. That's a goal.
I'm also drinking, so But let's say that there's one in front of you.
So you should feel real bad that I fucked you.
And it's like, can you see me? Can you interact with me by touching me? Would you do that, right? You would probably do that. So it's just a theory, a scientific theory. And it's hard for me to say because I haven't had the kind of interactions you've had with ghosts and things like that. The few I've had where it's something like that is more of I thought I saw something peripherally go by, which, it could be a gazillion things. Your peripheral vision is so poor, like bare movement can make you think you saw something. If it was even just like a dust in the wind, could make you feel like there's something next to you because your peripheral vision is so poor. But you could also, like the other one I had was in a dream, but I'm a very lucid sleeper. So when I have a dream, like the one I had,
which that's also another. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but like that's another like topic is like your brain can't create like new faces. So if you're dreaming and you create a new face that you've never seen before, it's likely a ghost. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Well, for this one,
I'd never heard that before. I knew that the brain couldn't recreate new faces. I knew that, but I didn't know like if it does that it gets a spirit or a ghost.
Yeah.
For my incident I had, it wasn't I saw anything, but it was.
Well, yeah, your cat's butthole sat on a fucking
right.
recorder.
No, for the incident I'm talking about, I did have an incident when we first moved into another house we had. It was our first night there, I believe, and we were asleep in the basement because my wife and I were. We had the basement. Our roommates had the upstairs, and we were laying downstairs on a air mattress, and I was asleep. But again, I'm a lucid sleeper. I often can hear and sense everything going on as I'm sleeping. I felt something grab my leg and then start talking to me. And I wasn't awake enough yet to like jump up out of bed and start kicking the crap out of wherever it was. But it told me when it grabbed me that it wasn't going to harm me or anything like that. But I don't know if that was a dream or not. But that's really like the only incidents I've ever really had with a ghost. Where in that same home, my wife had multiple.
And this
from turning TVs off and things like that.
So like I have obviously 2 small children, which this is also not necessarily a conspiracy theory, but this is also a theory that children are so innocent that they can literally see ghosts and shit. So I mean, so at the previous house that I used to live at, like I believe it was a little bit haunted. And I say that because I heard footsteps running down the stairs and a door slamming, and my daughter at the time was in a crib, so she definitely couldn't have done that. And I texted my sister used to live in our house, and I texted her like, "Hey, are you home? Like, because I heard the door shut." And she said, "No, I'm definitely still at work." I was like, "Oh, okay, that cuts that out." But like my daughter is, I believe she saw the ghost because she, like, you'd be looking at her and she would look past you and then get a little scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah. So, definitely something that is intriguing, and definitely something I believe, even though it's not necessarily conspiracy theory, but it is a theory. If that makes sense.
Well,
Yes.
I would apply it as a conspiracy theory in the same right, because it's a theory that you can't really prove. And if, let's say, ghosts are real, and there's a conspiracy to hide them real from the public, that would be a conspiracy theory, right? So I think that you could call the ghost a conspiracy theory. But we will leave that up to the other few fans that we have. So, guys, let us know.
Listen to the podcast, Davon, you bitch.
Yes.
You ditched us. You abandoned us.
And that is not a conspiracy theory. That is a spoiler.
That's a scientific fact.
But, guys, let us know what your favorite conspiracy theory is. Let us know if we talked about it on any ones. Let us know your thoughts on any ones we talked about. Or let us know if there's ones we didn't talk about that you would love us to talk about in the next episode. We might cover of these. So reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Be Hero Media. You can also reach out to me directly at Mike Burke DCW on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as Mike Burke Pro on Twitter, because Twitter still does not like me having my old tag name. You can reach out to Sowell at
John_so_well
on all of the social medias.
Yep, sure. Let's go with that.
All right. And then you can reach out to Josh at
Bonesaw_Will on Instagram and William Cutting on Facebook. And you can just ignore the warning that comes up when you bring up that name, by the way. So that's done.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one actually ended up being a pretty fun one. I actually had a good amount of entertainment.
You're welcome for saving the podcast again. Fuck you, Davon.
Thank you so well.
I mean, Josh, you should have heard the fucking the topic that I was going to pitch before
Yeah.
you came back on the phone.
No, that's your next topic.
No, what is it? You sons of bitches.
Well, you definitely need time to plan this one. It's the topic was, why is anime so dumb? The worst animes ever.
Oh, I've got a laundry list of bad animes compared to the handful of good ones that I've watched.
Dragon Ball Z is right up there, number one.
You motherfucker, you keep DBZ out of your goddamn mouth.
And on that note, guys, I hope you had a great one. For the rest of Be Hero Media, we have been Slightly Agitated. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Hugs and kisses.
Fuck you so well.